Shalom, shalom. It's following Yeshua.
And Sister T.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the Rock. Um, a video answering more questions on this blessed Shabbat day. We've been asked to do more of these videos on the Shabbat, so we will attempt to um, cover more of these studies. I was supposed to be doing a video on the difference between marriage and putting away, but this video kind of took precedence in that we were already asked of it, so I'm doing it. There's a couple of announcements. One, people asked about Passover. Passover. People asked about, what the heck am I talking about? Um, Tabernacles. Yes, we will be having tabernacles here. Um, we have a brother coming out from California already. Bless you, Brother Manuel. And looking forward to, Yah's feasts. Hallelujah. Um, Obviously, we're not holding a big Passover, I keep saying Passover, big tabernacles, but we will, a couple families. So a couple people have asked us about it. So that's the answer to the question. Number two, I forgot. So um, it looks like we will be headed into the video. All right. So we have been asked about Sister T as far as being a stay-at-home mother, stay-at-home wife. She doesn't like it when I say stay-at-home mother first. She likes it. Go ahead and explain that reasoning real quick.
I just don't like the idea that before you ever become a mother, well, it's supposed to be before you ever become a mother, you are a wife first. And everyone says stay at home mom, as if you're staying at home, as if staying at home only regards to you taking care of things in regards to your children. And if the husband's first, then I don't understand why everyone wants to refer to him as a stay at home mother more than they would a stay at home wife. Or homemakers seem to conjoin both because you're doing all the things that pertain to the husband and the children and the family as a whole and as your job. But a stay-at-home mom, I just don't like to be referred to as a stay-at-home mom because I'm also a stay-at-home wife and I'm a wife first.
So there's her reasoning. You heard it first. Um, so, she's been asked, how has it affected her spiritually? How has it affected her physically? And one of the things that I really want to stress in our channel again is we are striving to get back to the old paths. And I know a lot of people who have been modernized don't understand what we're talking about. Living what we were supposed to live as a people. That is one of the things that we strive to do. Live off the land, biblical marriage, biblical living, growing your own food, producing. That's what Israelites did. We were producers. We were a free people. Now we love the ways of the world. We love, we've been so inclined and so integrated into Egypt that we love the ways of Egypt more than we love Yah's ways, while we call ourselves Israelites. But we hold fast to those things that are of the world. So that's why a lot of people may not understand the passion that comes from us when we talk about certain things. It's because we strive to do things Yah's way, the way He had originally, brought it to our people. Living off the land, living, peaceably as much as possible, unless somebody chooses to make us their enemy. Growing, producing, being productive, being doers, instead of just people who study. This whole new movement of everybody just studying and not living anything. It's baffling to me because it produces nothing but a bunch of religious people. We are not a religious people. Sister T and myself and the people, those who are striving to be on the rock, we are not a religious people. We are doers. And we put our hand to the plow and we get to work. We don't spend our day watching thousands of YouTube videos. We're not subscribed to thousands of people. We keep life simple. We keep who we listen to simple, and we live this word. So I hope that you are able to understand that as we talk about this, as far as how we live, and why the word governs our living and not our opinions. So you can read in Timothy. Excuse me. Hold on one second. All right, we're back. In First Timothy chapter 5, when it talks about how the younger women, older women are to act, it says in First Timothy chapter 5, starting in verse 11, but refuse the younger widows. I have a bug chasing me. For when they become headstrong against the Hamashiach, they desire to marry, having guilt because they put aside their first belief. Listen to this. Sisters, listen to this. Moreover, they learn to be idle, going about from house to house, or in this case, channel to channel, on YouTube, phone number to phone number, on your telephone, website to website, on the internet,
Facebook to Facebook.
Facebook to Facebook, on Facebook, Instagram to Instagram, on Instagram, and not only idle, but also gossips and busybodies, speaking what is improper. And we have an epidemic of that, of women speaking things that are improper because they're all over the place, because they're not fulfilling this word. So I resolve that the younger widows marry, bear children, manage the house, giving no occasion to the adversary for reviling. For already some have turned aside after Satan. So that is the verse we're going to use to preface this video. Sister T, you already heard the question. Go ahead and speak on it. So we're back. Technical difficulties. All right, Sister T, go ahead.
Hi. Okay, so being a stay-at-home wife has blessed me. We're going to break this down in sections, so I'll talk about being a stay-at-home wife first, and then we'll move forward in, the other duties as being, when you get to stay home. So being a stay-at-home wife has blessed me because, when I look out to this world, when we look at the problems of women today, it comes from this society of how we've been trained. And to me, when you're out there in the world and you have to have a job like a man does and do all that, that's like the start or the birth of feminism, I believe, in a woman, because you stop learning to appreciate your husband. So I'm blessed because when I'm here, when I see my husband put in the hours, when I see him come home, when I see him building our home for the family, when I see him chopping up this wood, he has over here because he's preparing for the winter and preparing for our family to be safe and stuff, it's easier for me to appreciate him and to appreciate the work that he does. When you're out there in the world and you carry a job yourself, it gives you a sense of independency that you actually shouldn't have. And it's really a deception, in reality, because when you're out there, when you have your job, and your husband go to work, you can't even appreciate all the hard work and things that he's preparing for the family, because you're like, I make my own money, I can make my money too, and then you lose your job, well, the government now takes care of you, so you always appreciating someone else, and you don't appreciate the man in the head in your life. And yeah, you go and you get a job and you make some money, but you can't fulfill that role that a man has. What the man is doing when he's working and what you're doing is still not the same thing. We weren't designed and equipped to handle the world. And if you notice, all the women that goes out there, they come home, they're no good. They're no good as a wife. They're no good even as a mother. They're no good. Because they can't handle all the stress that the man can handle. They can't handle the workload. So when they come back, why are women depressed? They make money and they're still depressed. They're still lonely. They suck at parenting because they don't know how to be there to fulfill the needs that their children have. They don't know how to fulfill the needs that the man even has for them, because out there they destroy you. You have, you're submitting to all sorts of people. You have to submit to your the boss, but then can't even come home and submit to your husband. You know how to perfectly do that, with your boss. Yes, sir. Yeah, right on time. I'll have them papers ready. And then your husband tell you to get him a glass of water. I'm tired. I've been working all day. You go get your own water. I mean, really? That's ridiculous.
I gotta step in there real quick. She hitting it right there. Sisters, you have no idea how many communications I get from men. Now, obviously, there are men who don't want to work, so this is not for them. But see, as a woman, you're not meant to just like as a man, you're not meant to submit to multiple gods. You're meant to submit and obey one. And as a woman, that is the same thing. You are meant to obey one man. So when you go out there and you obey your boss tells you to get to work at a certain time, you are there 15 minutes early. Your boss tells you to wear this certain uniform, you make sure it's ironed, you make sure your makeup's on point, which, I mean, makeup is a complete wicked thing. It's completely wicked. There's only one example of makeup being worn, and it was Jezebel when Jehu was riding in the town she wanted to try and impress him. Plus, when you're wearing makeup, you're making up what you look like. And also, when you wear makeup, you're basically telling Yah, listen, I'm making up for what you didn't give me. So you're saying Yah didn't do a good enough job. Completely off point, but I had to hit that. You make sure everything's on point when you go to work. Then when you come home tired at the end of the day, after you gave the world and other men and your boss and everybody else your prime work hours, your prime hours. Then you come home and you give your husband what scraps you have left. I'm too tired for this. He gets to come home and see you looking like you just ran and ran through a blender. Your hair ain't done. Your hair's not combed. Your teeth ain't brushed. You look like crap. You can't give him any time. You can't be there for him. You can't cook his meal. You can't be there for him the way he needs you. He's getting the scraps of your day. See, for myself, I get the best of the day. The children get the best of Sister T. And that's why we are so adamant about biblical marriage and doing things Yah's way, because Yah's ways were correct. They were right. But go ahead, Sister T. I had to hit that. That was so good. That was so good.
Well, he was saying a point that I was going to say. And by no means have I mastered this. But let me tell you something. This is my first time staying home, and we did a lot of movement, but I've learned so much in the short amount of time that I've been able to stay home that I'm like honored, because now I got to see the effects that the world had on me. And every day now, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is the perfect opportunity I have to now make the best meal for my husband for what we have at the time, versus I'm looking online for meal recipes and people are talking about quick easy meals in 20 minutes because they got to go to work, so they got to pop in a TV dinner for their husband. Like, that's what your husband get after all the hard work. He go gets the food and you like, can you get a TV dinner, because I ain't got time to make you no food. And then you have enough nerve on top of that to say go put it in the microwave yourself. I mean, like, women act like it's just so hard to like make their husband a meal and be proud about it, because of all the things he's doing for you. Well, the world takes that away from you. When you're a woman, you're independent. I mean, I talk to even sisters now, and I thank the Most High when I get off the phone. I am so grateful, because I talk to sisters now who's telling me they're having a hard time reverencing their husband from time to time, because when there's a disagreement, they feel like, listen, I make money just like you do. I'm bringing in cash too. So then they're having a hard time adjusting in their mind that they're not their husband's equal. Or if he leaves me, I can make it on my own. We shouldn't have that mentality. That's not how we were designed to depend on this man and fulfill a role from our position. And it doesn't even make you less like you believe. I mean, you're not where he is, but it's not less like you believe. I mean, we have a big responsibility, but we change things from that position, from being humble. I mean, look what Esther was able to do from her own position. I mean, and we don't care nothing about that. We care about leveling up to where the man is. And so being at home for me, it's just been an honor. I know who I'm submitting to. From day in to day out, I know who I'm submitting to. I know who I'm here to please daily. And the more he comes back and, he can tell me what he likes and what he don't like, and I can go take care of those things.
There's a quick verse I want to bring to light, just to go along with what she's saying. For the brothers, look at Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 25. At the end of the chapter, it's like the last 3 or 4 verses. I'm not quite sure which one it is, so you have to excuse me for that part. But Sirach, chapter 25, it says, a woman, if she maintains her husband, is full of anger, impudence, and much reproach. There are so many women today who are working while a man stays home and studies. She's going to be angry because she's maintaining you. You're supposed to be maintaining the family. It's your job to provide food and a covering or clothing, not her job. So she's going to be angry and impudent and full of much reproach. She's going to be bitter towards you because she's doing your job. Think about that. But go ahead, Sister T.
And also, to add just really quick, I don't want to lose focus, but to add to that also, I was reading a study that also talked about when a woman takes on the job that a man does. Studies have actually proven, like, when she has that burden and the stress, it actually produces more testosterone in her body. And for a man, that testosterone is a good thing. For the woman, it's a bad thing. So just to let y'all know that. So when you wonder, like, why is a woman kind of so manly? Because you're doing the job of a man that you weren't created to do. And it's producing testosterone in your body. And then you losing your feminine characteristics. I didn't say feminism, just so you know. Not feminism. Femininity, as a woman. And now we don't know how to be. And, it's really, really sad. We're like, what happened to us women? I mean, men literally call our family. And one of the things that they're displeased with us women is because we're not feminine. They're like, it's sometimes I feel like I'm talking to another man the way when I'm dealing with my wife, and that hurts me. I'm like, man, like, what have we picked up? But that's what happens when we've been put in this society. So the more and more I've been brought back to the house and back to my role, and the more I have embraced it and not been angry about it and been bitter about it, but I'm like joyful about it, the more and more woman like I've become, even the more so,
And you're
more and
talking
more.
you're talking to a woman who was a college basketball player, who used to be the defensive stopper, who would dive on the floor for loose balls, who would boast and be proud about the blood and the shutting of a defender down and the bumps and bruises that she got from chasing an orange ball. Now I know that passion because I love that orange ball for a large portion of my life when I played college ball too. That orange ball was amazing. It was my God. I will tell you right now, I had a God and it was basketball.
Yes.
But she loved that ball. She had a passion for it, for Wilson. We both had a love affair
Mine
with
was
Wilson.
Spalding.
Oh, sure was
Junior
Spalding. Mine was
Spalding.
Wilson.
Mine
Mine
was
was Wilson.
Spalding.
Mine was Wilson. I love Wilson. Little Castaway reference with But anyways, so yeah. So you're talking to a woman who was raised a man, basically, in today's culture. She was raised to embrace her masculinity, to abhor her femininity. Well, men, if you want your wife to be a wife, it does no good for us to talk about these things and have these discussions of men. You're going to keep pushing her out into the world. And then, why don't you respect me? She respects her boss. That's who she knows. She spends more time every day obeying her boss at work than she does obeying you. More time. Her boss will give her a pack of papers and say, do this. And she goes and does it. And you're excited about the fact that she's bringing home money, but then it's like, well, you need to respect me. I'm the man here. I'm the one providing the money. Well, she's providing the money too.
May I say something?
Yes.
Also, too.
This video's not going anywhere we want it to.
Right.
We're gonna do a part 2 of this video. We're gonna try to cut this one down about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then we'll do a part 2, maybe later today or tomorrow. But we will do a part 2.
Okay. Also, I was gonna say, be mindful. Because my husband is here, I'm gonna speak more neutral in a sense of, be mindful too, because when you're out there in that world, yeah, the boss will say, get this done, and the boss puts a smile on his face when he's smiling at your wife. And when the boss gets it done, he goes to your wife and say, good job.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, I hear women say it, and I know the way I feel. A lot of times when you come back, I'm the man, and you having us in that position of we gonna make money just like you do. We don't really know the difference between you and I, because just like you put money in the house, so am I. And just like you up late working, so am I. And just like you tired and stressed, so am I. But then I get to come home to you telling me what to do, and then you don't even give me a smile. At least you don't even say, good job, I love you, honey, I appreciate what you do. Well, this boss is. So it does bring a level of confusion where.
And that boss is looking at your wife. Let me get
in this.
That boss is looking at your wife, telling her, well, you doing a good job, and he got that eye on her. He got that eye and he's congratulating her, and I couldn't do it without you. But then she get home and you like, well, you weren't even respecting me. Well, she's being told to respect this man at work with your authority. You gave her the authority to respect another man higher than you, because you worried about that paycheck she's bringing in, because you don't want to bust your ass and get to work. Then the house is all off kilter because we're not embracing our lifestyle. We want to bring in the world, and the Bible says in Isaiah, if you rely on the ways of Egypt, he will be your refuge. Egypt will be your refuge. And many of you are relying on the Egyptian ways. Many of you sisters are relying on the ways of this world. You want a biblical man, a biblical marriage, but you want to abhor biblical marriage. You want a biblical man, a biblical relationship. You want him to obey the Father, but then when it comes to areas that you don't like, you want to take those out of the Bible. It's ridiculous. And this is why our marriages are off kilter, because we want to do things our own way, but then receive the blessings of Yah as if we're doing it his way. Let me get off this camera. They ain't here to see me. Go ahead, Sister T.
So anyway, so back to my point. So this is why it really blesses me to be at home. And as he said, yes, I was a ball player. So for me, I went in girly. I came out just a straight up dude in a sense, and I didn't know that that's what it was transforming me to be, when your coach give you a job and say, shut down defenders and don't let them get nowhere, and praising me to knock women over on the court. I mean, seriously, that's what I was doing, because that's what I was, I guess, good at it, and then go shoot the ball over here and get in people's face, or that's what they teach you, that's what they praise you. So then you doing that, and then you wonder why you're in your husband's face, or why you going back and forth, and for me, that's detrimental to me, because for me, when I came this way and I started learning, like, I'm literally having breakdowns because I want to be that woman I see in the Bible, but what's been put inside of me is to do the same, to fight with a man, because I'm fighting with people on the court. I mean, so.
And she's being taught to fight with other women. So she's not, for those of you who have played sports, I was a starter, so I don't really know what it is, in that aspect. But if you're a player and you want more time on the court, your whole job, your whole idea is to try to become better than the next woman, competing against another woman who's supposed to be on your same team. That's why many of you cannot accept the truth that is biblical marriage. They cannot accept the truth of what it is to have true sisterhood, of community living. It's because you've been taught to compete, to be jealous, to be envious. Same thing with men. We're taught to compete against each other. Compete to try and get those few minutes on that basketball court because you want glory for yourself instead of bringing the team up.
Yes.
The team is going to be elevated and winning. You're worried about getting your numbers, about your gratification and satisfaction. I'm gonna shut up. Go ahead.
And this is why we are not a good tribe, a good people. We do not have good sisterhood, whether it's the polygynous form, or whether honestly, if it's just community form, because you still worried about being the best. You want to be better than everybody else. You scared to help the next sister because you scared that she's gonna excel higher than you once you teach her something. And the man is the same way. They scared. So people, I'm not talking about men in that way, but this is just literally what happens to our people. Just generally, everybody's in competition. You so scared that somebody you can't even congratulate the person, like, hallelujah, I'm happy you got this down. You can't even be thankful.
You hating on them.
You just hate.
Why the Most High bless them for? I know what they be doing on the side. I know, I guess that can't be a blessing from Yah. That's Satan. I'm just gonna wait for them to fall.
Yeah, you have all this
Y'all
suspicion
sick.
because somebody else is really, striving, instead of, like, let me strive with you. Let's build each other up. We don't have that. We don't even have that at all. And this is why marriage is not working. This is why communities aren't working, because everybody wants to be better than everybody else instead of, but the Bible, that's what the Bible says. And everywhere in the Bible, he says the humble, meek, humility. I was reading scripture saying the greater you are, the more humble you should be. So we should be continuing trying to humble ourselves and know we want to do everything to keep adding more pride to ourselves. And then we can't work together as brothers and sisters for crap, because every one of us is prideful. We get honest about ourselves. We are still prideful people, and
Very prideful. Well, in fact, many people come to this faith for the sheer fact that they get to be one up over, the next nation. Well, look at me, these people, they're going to cower before me. Yeah, and you ain't going to make it to the kingdom. You're going to be in hell. The people that you talking about will be in the kingdom, and you're going to be in hell. Right. While you over here embracing your pride. Talking about, that's what it is. These people have come to the faith. They have not lived shit in this world. You are terrible Christians, and you're terrible Israelites. But you're full of pride. You are full of pride. Instead of humbling yourself, instead of embracing Yah's ways, like for a man, embracing the hard work, getting rid of your vanity, your shoes, and all that stuff, but embracing Yah's ways. And for the sisters, embracing Yah's ways, putting aside your selfish. I'm too selfish for this. I'm too selfish for that. Well, if you're too selfish for it, why would Yah give you anything if you're too selfish for it? Because he knows you're going to use it just for you. He ain't going to give you nothing because he's going to know everything that he gives you is going to be solely used for your gratification. Let me shut up. I really am shutting up this time. So go ahead. Let's close it down. Yeah, finish up talking about staying at home as a wife, and I'm going to shut up for the rest of the video. I apologize, everybody. I'm very passionate. Yeah, we'll do part 2 of the motherhood.
I think we done really butchered this. We went everywhere. Okay. But so being a stay-at-home wife, like I said, it blesses me. It teaches me. Like, I feel like I've been in a training since I've been here. I feel like he brought me out to the rock to teach me. Because even when I hear, let me tell you, I still have things that I'm constantly working on, but I've been learning, like, I'm literally like, this is why I'm supposed to be at home. It really, really teaches me how to secure, to get this job. And I'm literally able to honor my husband, because when I watch him walk in tired, I'm like, wow. And when I'm tired, it's not tired the same way when I was in the world, like, I'm doing the same job you do. This tired now is just like, man, I'm trying to get your home together. I'm trying to make sure, everything that you need is done. I'm more tired because, I'm just trying to be that best helpmeet, and I'm racking my brain on how to please him more instead of being, tired in that same way. So it's just a blessing, and I honor him more. Like, the more and more I see him come home, the more when I see him cutting down trees, in my mind, I'm reminded I couldn't cut that tree the same way he does and turn that. I can't make that tree turn and go over here so we don't kill us. Because it done landed on us. I'm trying to cut a tree. It may fall on me. I'm very grateful when I see him do all this hard work. I mean, things that he put together. I can't lift what he can lift. I can't do that. So it reminds me of that commercial that anything you can do, I can do better. Not anything he can do, I can't. I'm looking over here. I'm like, I cannot do that, and nor can I do it better. I can't cut that tree. I can't do it better. I can't lift this log and do it better. No, I can't. So it reminds me, it always puts me back to where I belong, in my position. Maybe what I can do and I can do better is be a helpmeet. That's what I can do.
Now, quickly, talk about the things that you were able to accomplish as far as being a wife. What things you've been able to do inside the home, things you've been able to learn since you've been able to be at home and focus on the building of the house.
Oh, okay. So since I've been home, I've actually been able to develop skills, real skills. So
Like talking and rolling your eyes and opinions and like that. Yeah, the skill. That's a skill. That's a skill right there.
No, because no. That's not how it happened. This is how.
Wait, do the clap. Yeah, do the clapping one.
No, period, point. No. I don't even know how to really do it.
Yeah, no, that they clap. They clap at every syllable.
Oh,
I told you that.
This is what I said.
There you go. That's a skill right there. That's a skill that takes rhythm and coordination. No, not those skills, people. Not those skills. Go ahead, tell the skills you've been able to learn.
Okay, so I've been able to really learn like real skills that's gonna benefit somebody other than myself. So I've been able to sew. Something that I've been wanting to do. But when you're out there in the world taking on this world, you don't ever get time to sew. My sewing machine stays in the corner half the time. But the sewing machine actually comes out. I actually see a need to use it and what I can use it for. I see ways to save money for my household now because I've been learning to do things like sewing. I've actually learned how to make our own bread and tortillas and rolls and anything else that have to do with bacon.
Off grid, and we got videos coming on that.
Yes, I've been able to do those things and to learn which type of flours to use and different things like that. I can go on that by itself. But I've been able to learn those things by myself, so that way he doesn't have to go out. So even when we're working on a budget, I'm able to say, okay, well, just make sure we got some flour and those little few items, and we could put together something. And that's what we had to do our first year, and we made it through that first year off of the little small
staples
things that we had, and just having those key items like flour and some yeast or whatever. We've been able to make it through while my husband, takes care of, the things that we needed done. So I've been able to sew. I've been able to make foods from scratch. I've been able to make soap. I learned how to make soap. I learned how to make.
We have a video on that coming actually tomorrow, y'all willing. Quick introduction on that. But go ahead. Sorry.
Toothbrushes and deodorant, all these things that save our family, finances, so we can put them in places that are more important, like solar. And
what are some of the things you've sewn?
I've sewn pads, diapers, skirts, dresses, pajama pants for my son,
head coverings,
underwear, pajamas.
As well as make alterations and repairs because I'd be going through some jeans.
Yes, I've also repaired like many of his jeans like over and over and over again, and even the patching and things like that. I've sewn napkins, cloth napkins. I've sewn those, and I'm working on other things. Like there's many other things out there. I just mostly sew the things that I know that we've needed a lot. Like now, my next big thing is curtains because I want to make sure we get some curtains for the house. And he's bought material, so that's my next big project. But yeah, I've been sewing those sort of things, and I'm still going.
Still going. See, this is the important. This is why we weren't going to do this on the Sabbath. We decided to, because all this Bible reading we're doing is not. If we're not going to do it, it means nothing. It means nothing to sit down in a 2-hour Sabbath service, to have a Bible study with following our show, to have a Bible study whatever whatever ministry you're at, whatever fellowship you're at, if you're not going to do it. If as a woman you're not going to fulfill your role, and as a man you're not going to fulfill your role, all you're doing is there to be seen. So you can say, well, I'm part of this group, but you're not living it. I can't stress how we need to live this. It is such a better life. You get to experience what Yah had for you. She gets to experience what it is to be a woman and a daughter of Sarah. Many people have spoken, against her polygyny video, but you see, she speaks with such a. Let's ask this. Let's close the video. Why did you speak the way? Why do you speak with such a surety in things that other people? I don't know how you. Nah, I can't. Nah, because you're largely understanding that a lot of people have aught with certain things that are biblical because of their own feelings. I'm too selfish. Well, if you're too selfish, it doesn't mean it's wrong. It just means you're too selfish. Well, I could, I'm too jealous. So your problem is jealousy. Your problem is not it. If you have a problem that's personal to you, it doesn't mean the thing is wrong. It means that you have an issue that you need to get and seek deliverance from. So why do you speak with such, even now, why do you speak with such a surety and a passion of living Yah's way?
Because it's not about me. That's like the key thing is learning what was I created for, what was I here for, and once you get that direction down, you realize it ain't about you. In the grand scheme of things, it's not about you. It's not even about. It's about Yah. Ultimately, though, this is about Yah, and He ordered things to go a certain way, and you're blessed from when you work from the position He's given you. And that's what I've been learning over the years, and it's hard sometimes, but you got to take the ultimate picture off of yourself. And once I start taking off myself, yeah, I still had problems, but at least I knew where I needed to address the problems. Now I knew what the problem was. At first, I just had problems and didn't even know where the problems were coming from. When I realized, hold on, this is my fear. This is my this. I realized it had nothing to do with what Yah says and what Yah wants and what Yah is doing. So that's what I had to do. I had to find out what was I even created for, and what's my issues. Oh, I'm fearful. Well, why am I fearful? Because of this, then I probably should do something about that. And I realized that the vision and the thing He's given has nothing to do with Tanisha alone. And He ain't gonna do anything from me trying to get outside of what His order is and get outside of what He's doing. So I just learned to appreciate this is the role He's given me. Fulfill that. So yes, when I have an issue, at least I know my issue is my issue now. Now I know my issue is because of something going on in me that I need to fix, so I can get with the Yah's program.
There you go. We're going to end this video because this video went nothing the way it was planned. But I hope somebody was edified. I hope somebody was strengthened by the words. We will attempt to really do this video tomorrow. We will, or on first day, or maybe next Shabbat. But I got some of the videos that people have asked about, like, the difference between putting away and divorce. I did a study on that in my previous channel before I erased it, and people, that was one of the the primary videos people were asking about. Why'd you delete that one? I'll bring it back. I'm going to be doing it again, and I'm going to be doing it more concise and firmer so that, there's a better understanding than even the first time. So I leave you with this question. If Yah were to follow you every day, on this Shabbat day, I want you to really meditate on this. If Yah was to follow you in your daily life, would He see an Israelite? Would He say you are an Israelite? Or would He say you are a fake? You're an imposter. You're a liar. You're deceived. If He followed you. And here's the interesting thing. The eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, looking at all the ways of man. He already is following you and seeing what you're doing. I hope you have a blessed Shabbat. I hope you are keeping and guarding this day, resting and really meditating on Him. We're about to head back and get a little Bible study going. Bless you. Shalom.
Shalom.